The single dad took his drunk boss home. Her actions that evening almost ruined his life. Marcus had learned long ago that kindness could be a dangerous currency. But on that bitter February evening, watching his boss stumble out of the office holiday party 3 months late, he couldn't turn away. She was alone, vulnerable, and clearly unable to drive. He was a single father who'd raised his daughter on minimum wage and moral conviction. Walking away wasn't in his DNA. What he didn't know was that this one act of decency would nearly destroy everything he'd spent 8 years building, and teach him that sometimes the people you help the most can become your greatest threat. The snow fell in thick sheets across the Chicago skyline as Marcus Chen locked up the conference room. Everyone else from Davies and Associates had left the delayed office party hours ago, but his boss, Catherine Davies herself, sat slumped in a leather chair, an empty wine glass dangling from her fingers. "Ms. Davies." Marcus approached carefully. "The car service left. Do you need me to call someone?" Catherine looked up, her usually sharp eyes unfocused. At 42, she was brilliant, demanding, and notoriously private. "My husband's in Singapore," she slurred. "Always Singapore. Or London. Or anywhere but here." Marcus checked his watch. His daughter Emma's babysitter needed to leave by 11. But leaving Catherine here, drunk and alone in a downtown office building, felt wrong on every level. "Let me drive you home," he offered. She waved dismissively, then nearly toppled from the chair. Marcus caught her elbow, steadying her. The decision was made. The drive to Catherine's Gold Coast brownstone took 25 minutes through the snowy streets. She dozed against the window, occasionally mumbling about quarterly reports and her absent husband. Marcus kept his eyes on the road, thinking about Emma's upcoming science fair project and the overtime check that would finally let them fix the apartment's heating. At her building, Catherine couldn't find her keys. Marcus helped her search through her designer bag, carefully avoiding anything too personal, until she triumphantly produced them from her coat pocket. "You're a good man, Marcus," she said, leaning heavily on the doorframe. "Too good for that filing clerk position." "I appreciate that, Ms. Davies. Will you be okay from here?" She grabbed his arm with surprising strength. "Help me inside, please. The stairs are problematic." Every instinct told Marcus to politely decline and leave. But he'd been raised by a mother who cleaned houses and still stopped to help strangers. He'd raised Emma to believe that character meant doing the right thing even when it was inconvenient. He helped Catherine up the front steps and into the foyer. The brownstone was stunning, all marble and modern art, the kind of place Marcus would never afford in 3 lifetimes. "Just to the couch," Catherine mumbled. Marcus guided her to the living room, helping her sit. "I'll get you some water." He found the kitchen, filled a glass, and returned to find Catherine sprawled on the couch, one shoe off. He set the water on the coffee table beside her. "Thank you," she whispered. Then, as he turned to leave, she grabbed his hand. "Don't go. I'm so alone here. Ms. Davies, you need to rest." "I should. Catherine. Call me Catherine." Her eyes filled with tears. "Do you know what it's like? This big house, all this success, and I'm completely alone." Marcus felt a wave of sympathy. He understood loneliness. After Emma's mother left when their daughter was 6 months old, he'd spent years wondering if he'd ever be anything but alone. "You're going to feel better in the morning," he said gently. Extracting his hand. "Drink the water. Lock the door behind me." He made it to the foyer when she called out again. Against his better judgment, he returned. Catherine was standing now, swaying slightly. "You're different from everyone else at that office," she said. "Real. Decent. I appreciate that. But I really need to." She lunged forward, wrapping her arms around him in what started as a hug but quickly became more. Marcus froze, then carefully but firmly pushed her away. "Ms. Davies, no. This isn't appropriate. You're drunk, you're my boss, and I need to go home to my daughter." Hurt flashed across Catherine's face, followed by something darker. "Right. Of course. The noble single father. Too good for someone like me. That's not what I." "Just leave," she snapped, all traces of vulnerability gone. "Go." Marcus didn't need to be told twice. He left quickly, his heart pounding, and drove home through the snow, trying to shake off the uncomfortable encounter. The next morning, Marcus was called into hour. Patricia Winters, the human resources director, sat across from him with a file folder and an expression that made his stomach drop. Marcus, we've received a serious complaint, she began. Catherine Davies has reported that you made unwanted advances toward her last night. The room tilted. What? No. That's the opposite of what happened. Patricia's face was professionally neutral. She says you insisted on driving her home, came inside uninvited, and made inappropriate physical contact. She has photographs of bruises on her arms where she says you grabbed her. I helped her to the couch because she could barely walk. She asked me to help her inside. Do you have any witnesses or evidence to support your version? Marcus's mouth went dry. No. But you know me. I've worked here 8 years. I've never. Unfortunately, this is a serious allegation. We're placing you on immediate suspension pending investigation. The next weeks were a nightmare. Catherine's lawyers sent letters. The company distanced itself from Marcus. Other employees, sensing scandal, avoided him. His small savings evaporated on a lawyer he couldn't afford. Worst of all was explaining to Emma why Daddy might lose his job. Her 8-year-old eyes had filled with worry she was too young to carry. Did you do something bad? She'd asked. No, sweetheart. I tried to help someone, and they're saying I did something I didn't do. Like when Tommy said I pushed him, but really he fell. Exactly like that. Marcus was preparing for the worst when his lawyer called. You're not going to believe this. Someone came forward. Trevor Park, the building's night security guard, had reviewed footage from the brownstone's exterior cameras. He'd seen everything. Catherine barely able to walk, Marcus supporting her carefully, maintaining appropriate distance. The timestamps matched Marcus's account perfectly. More damaging to Catherine's case, Trevor revealed this wasn't the first time. 2 years earlier, she'd made similar accusations against a junior partner who'd also helped her home after too much drinking. That case had been quietly settled and buried. The company investigation ended swiftly. Catherine Davies was asked to resign. Marcus was offered his job back with a promotion and a formal apology. But Marcus turned it down. Standing in Patricia's office, he felt oddly calm. I appreciate the offer, but I can't work somewhere that was willing to believe the worst of me so easily. Not after 8 years of loyalty. He found a better position within a month, a company that valued his work ethic and integrity. The new job paid more and had better hours for Emma's schedule. A year later, Marcus received a handwritten letter. Catherine's handwriting was shaky. I'm writing from a treatment facility. I can never undo what I did to you, but I want you to know that your kindness that night, real kindness, with no agenda, haunted me. It held up a mirror to who I'd become. I'm getting help. I'm sorry. Asterisk. Marcus showed the letter to Emma, now 9 and working on her science fair project about integrity. Are you going to write her back? She asked. I think so. People deserve second chances, even when they've hurt us. Because that's what good people do. Marcus smiled, pulling his daughter close. Because that's what we choose to do. Our kindness is about who we are, not about whether people deserve it. He'd learned that helping others always carried risk. But he'd also learned that his integrity wasn't determined by other people's actions, it was determined by his own. And that was something no one could ever take from him. That evening, as snow fell gently outside their warm apartment, Marcus wrote back to Catherine. Not because she deserved forgiveness, but because he deserved peace. And Emma deserved to see that even when kindness costs us, it's still worth the price.